Morning folks, it's zombie week. Now, what do I mean by that? Anybody who caught last week's video will know that I missed a night's sleep midweek. Now, do you know what, zombie week, is that a proper term? Big puddle. Whoop. Is that a proper term, zombie week? Because it's not exactly that. The way that I feel right now is about 90%. So day-to-day stuff, fine, you know, everyday tasks, no problems. If somebody was to ask me a complex, or give me a complex question, or give me a difficult puzzle to solve, I'd be shrugging my shoulders and going, I don't even know where to start. I can't help you. So although, you know, it can be avoided by taking a couple of days off. You can, if you miss a night's sleep, you can fix it all, take a couple of days off, relax, rest and recuperate. But you know, of course, that's not always possible, and it's not always the case. I do, and I may have a tendency to ramble as well in zombie week, so I have to try not to do that, or maybe do some clever editing. So, a couple of things. You'll have felt this before when you had like a Saturday night that turned into Sunday. You know, they've been at a party or something like that. This happened all the time back in the rock and roll days. And that following week, you're just a bit, and it's kind of, things aren't as easy as they should be. So, although it gets harder with age, you get a little bit wiser. And I now know not to try and make any difficult decisions, you know, sort of planning for the future. And I also know that if something is getting right on my nerves this week, then possibly it's not actually really getting on my nerves, it's just the way that I'm feeling this week. What I do want to address is there's a couple of things that have come from comments, private messages and emails from the last video. We'll see how this does when it's a little bit wet. I've had a bit of rain. I think it's going to do better. Anyway, so the first thing that I want to address is the messages of support. Now, whether it be via a comment or a private message or an email, or whichever way that it's happened, that all needs raking. Whichever way that it's happened, it means a lot to me. For somebody to take the time, no matter how little time it took, that's irrelevant. But for somebody to take the time to say, "Hey man, nice one," I can't express what that means. I know that you don't have to do that. I'm a YouTube aficionado. I don't watch TV, I watch YouTube. And there's many a video that I've watched and got to the end of the video and thought, hey, that was great, and I've not put a comment in, or I've not got in touch. Now, don't get me wrong, I do get in touch with people all the time, but you know, sometimes it happens, you just don't say anything. And for those people to have taken the time out of their day to make a comment, or to send me an email, or just PM through Facebook or whatever, it means so much, because it means that when at 4 o'clock in the morning, when I'm doing whatever, and I'm hoping that I'm not talking to myself, it means that I'm actually not talking to myself. Man, this stuff packs down so much better when it's been a little bit damp. So the next thing that I wanted to address was the next couple of questions, were the whys and hows. Now, the messages that I'm getting are they're not like bad vibes, like, well, why would you bother doing that, or how can you even be asked? Well, not how can you be asked, but sort of more inquisitive, like, why have you chose to do it that way, and you know, how are you able to motivate yourself to do it through with all the hours and stuff? Well, I suppose first of all, I should apologise if I've answered your question over the weekend by saying, oh yeah, you know how it is, man, you just got to crack on. That's a really short answer. It's kind of true, but it's a really short answer, and it's just because I was a bit tired, and that's kind of like, there's 4 or 5 of those gone out, and I apologise, I can elaborate on them a bit more now. The blunt way of putting it is, I suppose I have a dream. I wanted to ditch off my corporate lifestyle and get involved in this, and this meant that I had to build it from scratch and run it from scratch and just kind of create and do it all. Now that's a dream, and we all have dreams, let's be real. We all have things that we want to do or things that we'd like to happen, but also, let's be real, nobody gives a flying fuck about your dreams. Nobody gives a shit. The universe doesn't care, your friends don't really care, neither your family don't really care. You know, ultimately, at the end of the day, if it all goes absolutely belly up, who's the only person that's going to be bitterly disappointed? In reality, it's you about your dreams. Other people will, you know, people will encourage you, and if you can get people to say, hey man, yeah, crack on, go for it, that's as good as you should expect and as good as you can hope for. And that leads me on to the next things, the expectations, entitlement. They're a disease. They're bad for this current, I don't want to say the current youth, it totally makes me sound like an old man, but yeah, screw it. My kids, take my kids for example, so I want to quash that and really nail down that feeling of entitlement that I see that some people have. Not everybody, and most people keep a good bloody lid on it as well. But just to think that because reasons, the world or the universe should owe you your things that you want. Fucking bullshit. It doesn't care. Nobody gives a monkeys. If you want something, you've just got to go out and do it, and you've got to make it happen. Now, in the sense of this, and people asking about whys, why did I choose that methodology? Well, the methodology of staying up all night, to be completely honest, wasn't an amazing choice, or wasn't the perfect choice if I'd had a few laid out in front of me. What it is it's really expensive to get the two loads that I got dumped down, and also to hire in the digger. And well, the digger thing, really, to be honest, the digger thing's really expensive to hire for a day. But if you do hire it for a day, like from 10 AM to 10 AM, there's more than 8 hours, or more than just the daylight hours in a day. So, you know, that's what I had to play with, and the decision was made, as it has been in the past, to be honest, to just crack on and go through and get as much out of it as I possibly can. Now, yeah, obviously, if there was another possibility or another way around of doing it, then I would probably work for a bit, come home, go to bed, come back and work on the digger for a bit, go to bed. And you know, that's honestly what I would have chosen. And it's, I don't want to say it's like I had no choice, but it's more this kind of thing of, dude, if you want to do it, just make it happen. You've got to crack on and get through and do it. And it does suck. It sucks a bit sometimes. But you know, it's afterwards, right now, it feels great. You know, it's done, and I've made it work. Another thing, I got help from Ando, and same thing, you know, God love him, I had to send him home. He didn't want to go. He's like, no man, I'll stay with you and work through. But like I said last time, you know, this is not his cross to bear, and to expect somebody to flog the bollocks off with you, it feels kind of wrong. The help that he came and gave me and offered me was gratefully received, but to just expect that he's going to be able to do this stupid shift that I was going to do, it just doesn't seem right, and it's asking too much from a mate, if you know what I mean. I don't know. He'd argue it was the other way. He'd say, no, screw it man, I'd have worked with you all night, and he's a great lad. Simple as that. Right, sorry folks, I've just realised that about 10 minutes ago, that bit that I filmed, I've just ranted. Apologies. I've forgotten to have lunch. Blood sugar was a bit low, a bit tired, a bit grumpy, and what have you. But hey, you know, we'll sort that out now and we'll crack on with the rest of the day. Hi guys, welcome to Wednesday. Wednesday is mental already. The whole day is just going to be moving stuff around. For example, got these couple of bits of ply. I've got a job for them. It is further down the line, but I do have a job for them, so I can't chuck them away, and I need them out of the house, so brought them up here. Do you know, I've just thought, as pulling that stuff off the roof and being all like, oh, I'm going to save these 2 bits of ply, as that just made me sound like a hoarder. And then the next thought in my head was, no, I've got a job for them, I'm not a hoarder. And then just realised about this. Do you remember me telling you last week that my dad gave me a shed? Now, just to give you a bit of interest in this shed, he said it's 25% knackered. It's like these backboards have got wet and rotten and are goosed, and essentially because they're wet and rotten and goosed, are no good to anyone. And so 25% of it's broken and no good, which I knew. He told me right from the outset. Then the only way to transport it here was on the roof of my car, so in order to do that safely we had to cut the whole thing in half. So this is the roof in 2 pieces, just cut straight down the middle. That's half a window, with the other half being here. So now I knew that was the case beforehand as well. So what I agreed to last week was, yeah, I'd like to have a shed that's 25% knackered, and yeah, I'd like to then have one that's been cut in half and needs reassembling. But I still said yeah. I'm like, yeah, totally. I don't have a job for it. I've got a cabin. I don't actually have a job for it. But I said yes to it. I'm like, yeah, totally, dude. I'll have that. Mint, cheers, thanks very much. Yeah, so I've got that now. So maybe I need to. Oh, what's that? Oh, it's a dog. Just paw prints there. I noticed that. I was like, ooh, what's that? It's just a dog. This is the kind of week that I'm having here. So yeah, I totally agreed to that. But it'll be an interesting vlog in itself of me putting it back together and making it a shed again. Because hell, I've gone to all the trouble of getting it up here now. I'm definitely going to make it a shed again. What for? I haven't thought that one through yet. Anyway, what I was going to say was, I'm going to leave this here. I've emptied off the roof and emptied out the back of the van of some spare bits of wood that I wanted, and the rest of the day is just going to go like this, guys. The rest of Wednesday is just me literally moving things around, because as you may or may not know, I've moved house. So and the house that I moved into was a bit of a building site. It's not now, we're in there, but there is some remnants of it left over, like bits of plyboard and bits of wood and what have you. But I've still got a lot of back and forth to do between them, and it's not an interesting vlog. What we'll do is, tomorrow's Thursday, so I'm gonna be here all day and working here. It'll be far more interesting to video, so let's cut to Thursday. Right, it's Thursday morning. Beautiful day, and I'm feeling kind of bang up for today. I don't know, maybe some of the tiredness has gone, and or whether I've caught up on some rest or whatever. Anyway, regardless, feeling good about today. Now, the road is starting to experience, I suppose, what you could only describe as the Goldilocks effect. So earlier it's been too wet. You know, I was kind of praying for rain, and we got it. Maybe a little too much, but now we've got this. You can see behind me, the sun's coming through this morning. That's forecasted just to last for the rest of the day, and everything's sort of tacking up down there now, so it's able to be compacted. I mean, we've had too dry, we've had too wet, and now we've kind of got just right. So my day today, for the most part, is about packing it in. We've got evening session this evening. I've got my daughter who's wanting to ride tonight as well, so I've got to go and pick her up. But so far, got a pretty straightforward day. Do the roads, pick my daughter up, track check, open up for evening session. So that's the plan. So the one thing I've noticed is that from kind of this on upwards, great, it's all started to pack down lovely. But from here down, I don't see how this can show on GoPro, but there's some lumpy and bumpy bits, and you know, that's okay, but the lumps and bumps are getting compacted and they're getting harder, and so it's more bumpy and more lumpy. So I think the score on this is to bust the rake out and tidy this bit up before I continue the rest of my up and down stuff. Right, I'm going to do a bit of an experiment here. I've got the camera facing forward attached to the windscreen. I'm going to do a live video on the internet whilst recording this video that you're watching, that'll go out later on on the internet. Now, I don't know if I'm going to cause some form of black hole to appear or something like that, but I'm just going to put on here, I don't know if you can even see this, road update, and a bit, and throw up the horns there. Not laughing, haha, look at my road update. No, like throw up the horns, yeah. So I don't know if this will cause some sort of problem in the space-time continuum with doing something live, and who knows. We'll try it anyway. Where's the, there you go, you just press that, I think. Right. Hiya folks, I'm just giving you a bit of an update today on the road situation. I know that when I first put this down it was too dry, then I was kind of praying for rain and it became too wet, and right now we've got what is essentially a bit of Goldilocks conditions. So I'm just going to spin you around, and by the way, yes, I am filming with a GoPro going on one bit in a red flashing light and holding a camera with the other bit, but I'm also on a closed private road. So let's see if we can hill start without causing a bit of a carry on. And everything's tacky and everything's holding up. Now we should just be able to go straight up here, no problems, no worries. It's kind of weird looking at the real world and looking at the screen at the same time. That's a bit of a strange effect. But, and then up over the last bump. Slowly over that one. I'd always advise slowly over that one. And let's spin you around. Woo. So sorted. Anyway, so for the rest of today, I'm going to be driving up and down that and packing it down. And I don't know if I'm pipping. I hope that farmer doesn't think I'm pipping at him. Check that out. Look at that, man. Beautiful. Anyway, it's a lovely day, and I'm going to do this for a bit, and I'll see you guys tonight for the evening session. Right, so that is my live video ended. And press finish, and it ends it there, and that's us done. Morning folks, it's Friday morning, and to some extent the road saga continues. So we had evening session last night. Nobody got stuck at the bottom. The guy who came in his big heavy works van last Thursday and couldn't get up, he drove it up this Thursday. Just put it in first, crawled up slowly, no problems. So that's all a massive plus side, but the downside of that is because it's still not completely compacted in, not to the, well, but I'm being fussy to the point where I want it to be. I feel like there's still a bit of work to do on it. So anyway, I'm going to head, that's where we're heading now. We're going to go up and do that and get that sorted out. The other thing that I wanted to talk about was we heard that Manon Carpenter was retiring yesterday, and I suppose my thoughts on that, really, let's look at downhill racing. It's full on, it's hardcore. The whole point is you win or lose by fractions of seconds, and 1 second can be the difference between 5 places different. You know, that is racing ultimately at the end of the day. But they're chucking themselves down these tracks at absolutely going hell for as fast as they can, basically, right at the very, very limits of their riding. And you know, when you're doing that, me and you, if we were really going to push it hard, it'll be on a day when we're really feeling it. You're just feeling good on the bike and everything's going well, and you just have a feeling inside you of, yeah, let's give it some hammer today. The racers don't get that, do they? They don't get that luxury. They've got to be feeling it at their start time, simple as that. And if they're really not feeling it, they crash and it all goes horribly wrong. If they're just not quite feeling it, then they don't get the results that they want. And to be honest, and to be fair to Manon, I think she's made the right choice. If you're not on it and you're not, I keep saying this phrase, feeling it, but if you're not feeling good about racing, then it's probably not a good idea. For example, look at Ratboy, right? Look at Josh. He just openly said, it's not for me. You know, I'm not. He loves it. Obviously, I've just heard interviews with him recently. Still just watching. It's not that he's fallen out of love with downhill racing. It's just I can totally imagine that having to be totally on it and feeling brilliant about the whole thing at that specific time of day on that day of that week, it's a bloody hard thing to do. And I've got massive respect for Manon and Josh, and anyone who says, yeah, do you know what, I've had enough, to me that's fair enough. We have got the other side of things with British downhill at the moment. You've probably by now read that Side Pattern's stepping away from the British downhill series, and for legit reasons. It's getting harder and harder to be able to put the events on and to have people there. People have ultimately got to sign up and pay prior to the event to make sure that you can run the event. So from a business point of view, I totally understand that. Makes complete sense. It's not. He's even put a breakdown of how much each cost is, and you know, it's not cheap. However, the flip side of that is, you know, 1995, I can't remember how much it is to enter into one. For the customer and for the riders, for us, that's 900 quid from the get-go, right? Then you're looking at 2 days away, probably. I don't know, you probably need to do the Saturday and the Sunday. You're looking at whatever drive it is to be away. If it's a super long drive, because it's a national series, you might need to take the Friday off work to get down there, pay to stay over somewhere on the Friday night, practice Saturday, stay over Saturday night, race Sunday. Your drive might be so hardcore that, like, especially for a national series, well, Fort Bill, places like that, you might need to take Monday off as well and stay over somewhere Sunday night to drive back on the Monday. Do you know what? In fairness, it is expensive to put on these races, and I appreciate that, and I'm not knocking that. But it also is expensive to be a racer. So I can also see why, you know, why it's harder and getting harder and harder for people, you know, to get the numbers in for the entries. So that's going out to tender. Whoever takes it on, and it'll be interesting to see what unfolds and how that plays out. Although I don't race myself anymore, that's a personal choice, because at the moment, the way I feel about it at the moment, I'm just not really that bothered about the times coming down the hill. It's more about dicking about in the woods on bikes for me. But I understand that some people really enjoy the racing aspect and the challenge, and the challenging themselves. But you know, there's SDA. Was it Dunkeld? I might be getting this wrong. I think it was Dunkeld for the SDAs that was super difficult to fill, and I think that ended up being cancelled. There's races getting cancelled right, left and centre, and somewhere the balance between how expensive it is to put on and how expensive it is to the racer to do, there's going to have to be, that's the grounds, I think, the key for whoever tenders for it next, and that's what they're going to have to work out. Okay folks, well, it's Friday evening and that is the week drawing to a close. We're all set and ready for the weekend now. I've got all the road done. I've done the track checks today, checked for tape and stuff like that. And last things, what I do need to, before I go home, I've got to go around and get 1 or 2 bits from the shops. I've run out of 2-stroke oil again, so I'm glad I've remembered that now. Not that it matters to you guys. But the very last thing that I need to do before I can head home is, as I've spoken about earlier, at the top of this car park area, we've had a red hanging around at the feeder. Now unfortunately Ando came in Thursday night and told us that way over on the other side of the woods, like almost to like the furthest outer boundary of the woods, he has picked a grey up on the camera. Now the other issue that we've got is this red has gone on the move, so the kind of at opposite ends of the wood at the moment, but because the little red won't have seen any grey activity, just a little bit concerned that it's decided to be a bit adventurous and start to go looking for friends in other parts of the wood, and we really don't want it to come in contact with that grey. So I just need to go for a quick scout over. Ando has got another feeder set up on that far end, but you know, these are all these are all responsibilities of woodland management, I suppose, and well, conservation of the reds, but it's all part and parcel of it. Have I got time to do it? Not really. Is it going to make me late home for tea again? Probably, but you know, I wanted to make sure that the road was done and sorted. And sorry, I'm just having a little, you won't be able to see it from the GoPro, but there's a feeder set up on there. I was just having a quick look to see if there's anything on the feeder. The good news is the shop that I want to go to, it doesn't shut, well, it's a garage, it doesn't shut until 8 o'clock, so I've got time there, and so I should go and check this, and I am ready for home, to be honest. It's been a long week, but I'm rambling now. Look, this is how bad it's got. It's got to like the end of the week. I'm a bit tired now, rambling. Anyway, I am looking forward to the weekend, however. Could do with some more of this sunshine, that'd be mint. And if you're coming up this weekend, pop in. Well, obviously you're going to pop in the cabin to sign in with me, but have a crack, say hi and what have you. It's always good to see you. And thank you very much for your time again, and I'll catch up with you shortly.